Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to this presentation. In this presentation, we're going to talk about Unit 4, graphs, and how to interpret them. Now, in this question, the owners of a holiday house consider three different ways of charging for electricity. Now, these three options here, let me make it smaller, good. These three options here are options for paying for electricity. In the holiday houses, you spend some electricity, so you have to pay money for that. Now, we have three options for that. You're going to use the graphs to describe the way each option is charged. Now, we're going to describe what's happening in each graph. Let's take a look at graph number 1, or option number 1. In option number 1, as you can see, the graph is between the charge in pounds and the units of electricity used. Now, charge in pounds means how much money you're paying for the electricity you use. Now, as you can see, we have a line here which is a horizontal line. Now, horizontal lines on distance time graph, it means you're not moving. Yes, you're not moving. It means you're stopping. Same here, but in different way. Now, as you can see, whatever units you're using in electricity, the charge doesn't change. For example, if the charge here is 0, let's say this is 0. Let's write it here. Let's say it starts with 0, and then this is 5, and this is 10 pounds, for example. So no matter the units you're using in electricity, you're paying the same amount of money here. It's 2 pounds. Very good. So the same amount of money all the time, whatever electricity you're using. This is for graph 1. This means you're gonna pay it whatever happens if you used it or not. And we call this constant payment or constant charge for electricity. Now, of course, it's going to be given in the paper with the holiday house's rent or rental paper, and everyone will know about that before using it. So for number 1 or option number 1, there's a constant charge that you're paying all the time, whatever electricity you're using. Now, let's take a look at option number 2. Now, option number 2, it's not the same. We have a line that starts from 0 and it's a straight line. So in this line or in this graph, we have a direct proportional graph. Good. So what does it mean to have a direct proportional graph? As we said, if we start from 0 here, let's put it here, I'm sorry, 0. If we have 5, 10, for example, 15, 20, what does that mean on the graph? It means when the units of the electricity increase, the money will increase with it. So each time you use more electricity, you're going to pay more money for that. This means that electricity and the charge of electricity are in direct proportion with each other. The more electricity that you use, the more money that you will pay. And what described this? The steepness of the line, because the line is not horizontal as the one here. The line is steep now. Because the line is steep, with horizontal line, it's a constant charge. But with a steeper line, the charge will be increasing with the units you use. Now, for graph A or option 2, you will say that the more electricity that you use, the more money that you will pay. Now, let's take a look at number 3, option 3. As we can see, option 3 is a mixed option between number 1 and number 2. You can see here that the graph or the line increased until a certain point. And then after that certain point, it became horizontal or constant. So this is how you're going to describe it. You're going to describe, for example, first, before we start, let's make an example here, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. For example, you will say that uh, the units of electricity you use, or the money you're going to pay will increase until a certain point. For example, until it reaches 25 pounds, for example, or you can say it reaches that amount of electrical use or electrical unit, and then after that it will stay the same. So to explain this, you're gonna say at the beginning of the use, you're gonna use certain amount of units that you use. You're gonna pay more money until a certain point. After that certain point, the payment will be the same or it will be constant. And this is how you explain option 3. So you're going to say the more units you use, the more money you pay until a certain point. After that point, the payment will be constant with that amount of money. And this is how you explain a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.